Well, hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of Soulivity Today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Westley Johnson, and whether you're at home, driving, or even at work, we're always glad you're here with us. I want to welcome back my co-host for today, Sheila Applegate, manifestation life coach, author, and the host of Consciously Awesome Living, which airs right here on Soulivity TV at 12 noon on Wednesdays. Again, welcome back, Sheila. It's so good to see your
Thanks,
face.
Brian. I know. It's been a while. It feels good to be back.
Right. I love the fact that you're here. Um, this is really going to be a good show today. I'm really excited. Um, um, You're here. We have a special guest that I'm going to introduce again, who's been here a few times, but it's always lovely to have you both together for this kind of show. As I said before, if you are ready for a great show, you came to the right place. Let's start here. Love relationships are such an important part of creating our best lives. They provide companionship, love, security, and emotional and physical support for all of us. But what do you do when you're going through challenges that are completely unavoidable but solvable? Well, back with us is Melva Johnson, who is the co-founder of the Johnson Relationship Institute for Couples. She's also a co-author of the book Mining for Gold in Your Relationships and the author of the 10 Secrets to a Long-Lasting and passionate marriage. She has more than 4 decades of experience as a psychotherapist, public speaker, co-author, and consultant, and she has appeared with her late husband, Jesse, on local and national radio, as well as TV shows, and has been featured in numerous print media. And I think for those of you who have been watching the show for a while now, she's also known as Mom to me and my brother. Hey, Mom.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing spiffy.
You're doing spiffy? That's actually
awesome.
really cool. That's really cool. And we're all kind of connected today. Specifically, Sheila, you just got back from California,
I did.
and Mom, you're originally from California.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is like a California kind of show. So all of our California listeners,
California.
yeah, I
Los
know,
Angeles.
all our
Oh, nice.
yeah, all our
Yeah.
California listeners
95% of my
are gonna,
family's there.
yeah, they're gonna love this show today. We are continuing our series about the 7 common frustration reasons couples get stuck in the reality stage of love. And today we're going to be talking about number 6, which is feeling unappreciated. Mom, I think last time we talked, and people, you can go back to either our website or our YouTube channel, and you can watch where we talked about number 7, which is feeling misunderstood. This is feeling unappreciated this time around. And this is another really important thing. I think that a lot of times people don't really talk about this one that much. It's kind of like maybe they kind of like just deal with it. Talk to us about reason 6. Why is this the 6th reason for why couples get stuck in this kind of reality stage of love?
Yeah. So let me just put it in a big picture kind of thing.
Mhm.
When I think about relationships and when I work with couples in their relationships, I think about, the big picture, why they came together, what their dream is. And then they get to the reality stage and find out that they're not equipped for the dream in some ways. They haven't developed certain skills or they're underdeveloped. And so they get stuck in relationship leaks. Being misunderstood is a leak. Not feeling appreciated is a leak. And the good news about that is like, oh, this is a symptom for us to explore and peel away the layers to find the root cause, which is our connection is ruptured in some way. Good news, we can do something about it. So
Wow.
appreciation is a leak. And it's a leak that says, oh, there's something, this is one thing that either one of us or both of us have not had a lot practice in our lifetime. And so when it shows up in our relationship, it gives us an opportunity to address it and to embrace it and to develop it within ourselves. Because the big picture is, what are the different ways that I can tap into the best version of myself and express it?
Wow.
So when people are not feeling appreciated, it's like, it's a big deal for them, because through their lifetime, not only are they triggered in the moment, but it's like that old brain has all those memories of every single time in their life that they have not felt appreciated for who they are, or what they do, or both.
Wow.
So it shows up when, people are trying their best in relationship. And here's the other part. It's like, there's just so much going on in life, and people are trying to do their level best, to be their best and do their best. And sometimes when two people are focused on different things in the moment, to do their best, be their best, what they need in the moment is not understood. One thing, sometimes they don't even say it in advance, that, one of the things that makes me feel loved and cared about, my love language is feeling appreciated about anything. So when they don't get it, then they get upset about it. And then if there's a real intense reaction, it's like, okay, let's take a look at this.
Right.
Let's take a look at
right.
this.
Sheila.
But we're not trained,
Yeah, go ahead.
We're not trained to think about it like that.
Yeah, as you're talking, Mom, I'm thinking, I'm seeing Sheila nodding, like, What are your thoughts, Sheila, about this?
Yeah, I think it's such an important aspect of it that we don't, as you're talking, Melva, I think about the fact that, we don't teach people how to be in relationships in our general education, right? And that's one of the most essential parts of being here in partnership with anyone. And so with appreciation, I loved that you mentioned the love language, right? Because how we feel appreciated is different for each person. And then, so for me, I think when you said that, I thought of, and you can tell me if this is what you were thinking too, I thought of, like, we need to know not only how we want to be, how we feel appreciation, but how the other person gives appreciation, so we can learn to receive it from them naturally as we practice on sharing love languages with that. Does
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah, because, sometimes people think that they are hitting the bullseye by how they figured out how to give the other person what they need.
right.
Not knowing how to attune into the other person, become curious and find out, inquire. It's like, what is it that lights your fire? Because what lights your fire sometimes it's not the same thing that always lights my fire in specific situations.
Right.
And sometimes people assume, because they're in survival mode, they're not in reflective mode, they assume that the other person is against them, that they're the enemy. And it's not the case. They just don't know.
Right.
Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know.
Right.
Right.
And as Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we do better.
Do better.
That's why we need to know about the leaks.
Yeah.
So let's kind of set the scene here. Can you give an example so that couples can kind of, or people who are actually even dating, right? Because this can happen during like long-term dating situations, because you're going to get to the reality stage. Yeah, it's going to happen. Set the stage for us. What does this look like?
Yeah, and this is in families, because appreciations, that's across the board. So what happens is, it's like I was referring to earlier, both people, for the most part, both people are doing their best to contribute to make the relationship work based on what they know how to do. So let's say that she's been at work all day and she has a stressful job, and then she comes home and then she has to cook and clean and take care of the children and what have you. And then he's been at work all day or all night or what have you, and he comes home and he just wants to relax because he's stressed beyond anything that he could describe. Well, she's looking for help. And so he's complaining and saying, well, this is too much right now. I need time out. Don't you appreciate everything that I did and everything that I do to make this marriage, this relationship work? And she says, well, I don't feel appreciated because I'm working 24 hours and you get to rest. What's up with that? What's up with that? So they go back and forth, arguing about the tip of the iceberg, not knowing how to peel away the layers to get to the root cause and do something about it, because that is something that can be fixed. Because when I look at frustrations about anything, I look at, can this situation be dissolved just by talking about it? Or can it be resolved with some kind of behavior change? Or if number one and number two don't work, what is the best way to manage it? But those kind of appreciations sometimes can be dissolved just by talking about it and letting the other person know, because the other person could say, oh, I didn't realize that you needed that. Right. And then there's an instant shift. Sometimes it requires a behavior change. It's like, okay, I really have to think about it because that's not in my radar. That's not in my blueprint. That's not even in my imprint in terms of how my subconscious is programmed to be in relationship. But it's an opportunity for me to grow. I can learn how to do that.
Wow.
And I can do it in style.
The battle of you're not appreciating me.
Yeah.
You're not validating me.
And the way that it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way that it comes out in frustration and anger. So that triggers the other person because they feel attacked, and then they attack back, or they withdraw, and then goes and back and forth and back and forth. And then nothing gets solved. So there's just like a timeout, so to speak. But all of those negative feelings are just simmering beneath the surface until the next time. And then there's an explosion. Ooh. It's like, haven't we been in that scene before? Didn't that happen yesterday and last year and 10 years ago?
Ooh.
Why do we keep getting
oh
stuck
man,
here?
oh man.
How come you're not understanding me?
Yeah, I think
how come you're not listening to me?
I think I can hear our audience in the background like, yeah, been there. Listen, we're gonna take a break. Let this kind of simmer and kind of like seep into people's consciousness right now. But when we come back, we'll talk more about this, everyone. We're gonna be talking more about feeling unappreciated and some other things and other dynamics around it. So stick right there. We'll be back with more of Soulivity today in just a moment.
Do you see me kneeling on this dual roller called Parasetter? It's actually comfortable because of this channel and the softness of the special foam. It feels like my kneecaps are being massaged. When I lie down, my spine is housed in this channel, while the convex rollers massage my muscles. They let go and lengthen. There's a traction effect from my head on the headrest and my mid-back from the rib wrap, which hugs me. When I start the breathing sequence, I feel calm because my cortisol levels are dropping. Lower cortisol means bye-bye constant hunger. Parasetter is 40 inches long and much more comfortable than old-style rollers, but it weighs only 10 ounces. Parasetter, just like Pilates was, is no longer an insider secret. Do yourself a favor. Reset your parasympathetic nervous system. Defeat stress. Lying, sitting, kneeling, or standing. This unique patented roller helps everyone.
Join us every weekday at 8 a.m. for Soulivity Today.
Whether you're just starting your day or on the road,
Soulivity Today will make your days better.
We will empower you with authentic conversation about the latest news and trending topics. Plus, you won't want to miss our interviews with industry experts.
so sit back, relax, and get ready for a whole lot of fun.
Soulivity Today, weekdays at 8 a.m. only on KMET 1490 AM radio and ABC News affiliate. Hello there. We're back here with more on Soulivity Today with noted relationship expert and author Melva Johnson and Sheila Applegate, Manifest and Life Coach, as we discuss this really important thing today, which is something that I think couples go through when they get stuck. This is reason number 6, feeling unappreciated, which is part of why couples get stuck in the reality stage of love. And Sheila, you had a question for Mom.
Yeah, so you were just talking about some of the predictable outcomes when we aren't appreciating each other. And as you were giving the example about the both of them working and then the female wanting to, having to come home and take care of the kids and the male wanting to rest or relax first, I could feel that energy coming up from traditional roles and those expectations that are put on there. And I think about how when expectations are there, we sometimes forget to appreciate, right? And so there's, and also there's a whole other topic we can do another day about negotiating those, right? But like, even if it's more balanced and even than that example, but when we're just getting along with the mundane every day, and there are things that we have to do to survive and do it, I think that's an area where we forget to appreciate. And I'm wondering if that's one of the areas that you notice as you bring that forward and see that predictable outcome playing itself out.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting when people talk about not feeling appreciated. So that's So there's a reaction to that. So the growth opportunity is to develop a reflective response to it. And so in addition to, I feel loved and cared about when you do this, do the kind of thing, to have a plan to find out what it is that makes that other person feel appreciated and valued. And so even if the situation is one person comes home and they're still working and the other person needs to decompress and relax, they can honor that is what's needed. And then they can come up with a plan to make sure that both of them have an opportunity to not only be appreciated, but also have an opportunity to have some balance in their life and in the household. Because sometimes maybe they can come up with a plan where, and I know I'm saying he and her, but I'm talking about couples, and because sometimes it's a same-sex relationship. Excuse me, but the theme is the same. It's like,
Right.
How can we make our lives together easier? How can we support each other to make our lives easier? And so, and each couple can come up with a plan that works for them, because sometimes one person really doesn't know. One thing that I learned over the years is how important it is for, men have taught me that they need time to decompress after they've been through a full day of anything. They just need to be able to do that. They need time to decompress, and then they can re-engage, because they have to shift from whatever they were doing before they got home to be able to pivot and engage once they get home.
Right.
Once that is honored and respected, what they taught me, including my husband, they have an opportunity. They're ready to engage.
Right.
You know, sometimes she just needs to make sure that everything is done, so they can just figure out how they can do that together. Because the big picture is, how do we work together to make each other's lives easier? It's one of the reasons why we came together in the first place.
Right.
We were doing it in romantic stage, but we were on drugs from the brain's good feeling things. So we were able to do it, you know, but the romantic stage, you know, it just gives us, oh, it's so wonderful because it gives us information about the potential of what we can experience. We don't know when we're on those good feeling drugs that we don't know how to do it. So when we get to the reality stage, we learn how to do it. It's like, so we can get to real love, you know. So
Right.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Now, wait a minute. So let me say this one thing.
Okay, go for it.
So this is for people. So now, many couples, many people in relationships want to do this. Not everybody wants to do that. They're accustomed to living life on their terms, and they're expecting their partner to follow along. Now that creates bigger problems, and sometimes the relationship doesn't last when that's happening.
Right.
It's like, oh no, I'm accustomed to this, so I'm expecting you to do this. Well, this doesn't work for me. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent.
But that's an important point. But that's an important point, right? Where, you know, you go into the romantic stage, you're on this high. There could be during that stage some of this stuff going on, right? But the drug is so powerful that you're like, I'm not even paying attention to that. This is wonderful, right? And that they go into the reality stage, and the reality stage is, I love you, now change. Remember Dad used to say that all the time?
Yes.
I love you, now change, right? And that if you just change, everything would be fine. But the problem is
so
both people are saying that to each other.
Right.
Yeah. And, you know, beneath the surface in the programming, because I look at how people are programmed to be in anything, it's like the programming is, I feel safe when you think like me, when you have the same feelings that I have, when you do the things that I do, not knowing that beyond there is an opportunity to expand, to grow and expand. It's not just about the way that I do it. I can learn from you in terms of what you're feeling. I can learn from you in terms of how you do this. You do this differently. Oh, wow. Now there's nothing wrong with the way that I do it. And there's another way. Wow, that expands me.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
And I get to value you too. Value me and value you. Look at what we could do together with pulling what we both brought to the table.
I love this. I love this conversation, guys. I love it. I love it. Because this is about expansion, right? This is about empowerment. It's about, as you said before, that you're coming together to increase both of the people in the relationship's capacity to love and give and receive love, right? And create this better life, this best life for both of them, as a couple and individually, right? You've got your team, you've got your home team that's always there, always supportive, and is your cheerleader as well in life. So thank you for that. But we're going to take a break because there's even some more ways that I think that you've come up with, Mom, around how to get unstuck, right? So we're going to take this quick break, and we'll be right back with more here on Soulivity today for relationship advice with Melva, where we're talking about how couples can get unstuck when they get kind of frustrated in different ways. So we'll be right back in about a couple minutes. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Hey, we're back with noted author and expert Melva Johnson on relationships and Sheila Applegate, manifestation life coach, as we discuss reason number 6, feeling unappreciated, part of common reasons why couples get stuck in the reality stage of love. I'm kind of, sometimes I want to start singing The Sea of Love. Remember that song? Mom, you know, I think as you talk about all these kinds of things, I mean, you know, people are a lot of times struggling in their relationship. They could be hurting. Something that's consistent when you now and then when you and Dad had your practice was you want people to know that the story doesn't end there, right? It doesn't just end where you're just in misery, right? And that there's ways to move forward and get, in this case, unstuck when you're getting frustrated, and in this case, feeling unappreciated. What are some of those ways? What are some of the things that you can tell people? We kind of talked about it a little bit last segment, but there's probably some more.
Yes. So with each one of these reasons that we're going to do each time, it's important to know where you are, not to judge it, just to understand it. It's like this is our starting point. And so it's like being clear about that without judgment. This is our point A. And then working together, talking together, and coming up with, well, how do we want it to be? So if we're looking at appreciations, how do we want that to look like and feel like in our relationship? Mm-hmm. So with that clarity, then you have a gap. So the question is, what do we do to bridge the gap from point A, where we are, to where we want to be? Well, first, one of the things that's important to do is to make a decision that this is something that we want to do. Mm-hmm. Is it something that both of us want to do? Or is it something that just one person wants to do? So generally, when people come to me, it's something they want to do. They weren't even aware they weren't doing it. They just, they're just aware that one person is aware that they weren't having it. The other person is aware that they're feeling criticized and attacked because they're not giving it. So the decision is first. And then the second part is finding out exactly how the other person wants to be appreciated. Because a lot of times, one person will say, Well, you should know. You've known me, if it's a short time, you've known me even a short time or a long time. You've known me long enough to know what it is that I like. You were doing it in when we first came together, that you were on drugs. You could only see what was working. You know, that first stage, we only see what's positive. And we just naturally give people parts of ourselves that's not natural for us to give because we had help. So when we get to the reality part, we find out, okay, this is going to take a little work. So making the decision. And so finding out what it is that the other person needs. And then it's not always going to be easy at first because you're developing a new habit.
Right.
So getting busy, developing that new habit. Now, you know, I think developing the habit of being more appreciative is probably easier than all the others. Because
Wow.
little things that people can do on a day-to-day basis, just noticing like not only what the other person does, but who the other person is. It's like, wow, you know, I really enjoyed the way that you walked into this room and had that smile on your face. I really enjoyed, you know, just watching how you were walking across the room. You know, I've always liked that. Have I ever said that to you? That kind of lights me up, just the way you smile, the way you like when you turn your head like that. I really like, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the thank you. It's like one of the things that really lit me up every time I cooked a meal and put it on the table. First, Jesse would always say, wow, you prepared a feast. I was cooking like you and Paul were still at home. So anyway, and then he would always say, thank you.
Thank you.
He would say, thank you for everything. It was like, wow.
Right.
I had to get used to that because I wasn't used to that. So anyway, you know, coming up with little things to pay attention to. I look at, in addition to looking at leaks in the foundation, one of the ways that I look at filling the leak is the metaphor of a relationship being a bank where you make deposits and then there's withdrawals. And so making deposits of appreciations, it makes that bank safer and more secure. And so when I talk to couples about making appreciations prominent in their relationship, sometimes when they come to the sessions and they're sharing the appreciations that they made between the sessions, they start competing in terms of who made the most appreciations. Because they hadn't thought about it. They hadn't thought about it before. People get stuck in what's not working because that's the way our brain works. The brain is always trying to protect us, always looking for something that's wrong. So when you're looking at your relationship bank, you're looking for what is right or what you can make righter. Okay, that's not good English, but you know what you can make better, and then you contribute to it. Day-to-day thank yous, little notes, little text messages, little surprises, doing something for your partner. Like if you're someone who is not accustomed to cooking or something, to making a special meal, or sometimes Jesse's favorite meal was to make reservations. You know, so but whatever.
Sheila, yeah, it was. He makes some good reservations too, boy.
And then you know, the compliments and just day-to-day things that will lift the other person up, because it just says, you know what, you are so valuable to me.
Yeah,
I'm going to lift you up, and I'm going to lift you up the best way that I know how, because you are worth it. You are worth it.
You
and
know,
so
Mom, really quickly,
yeah.
You are talking about concepts that, Sheila, you talk about all the time in terms of manifestation, right? You attract to yourself where
Mhm.
your thought and where your feeling state is. So
Yeah.
if in your
Right.
relationship, what's prominent is gratitude and joy, whoa, watch out.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the more you give, the more you receive, right? And
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if we're going to break, but I do want to say a couple things when we
No,
get back.
go for it. Go for it. We'll pass through it.
I was a couple things popped out as you were talking, Melva, and one was when Jesse was giving you all that gratitude and appreciation, it took you a moment to get used to it. I think that is really common because I don't think we're used to feeling appreciated, and we say we want it, but then it really is a wait, like sit back and receive it, take it in, let it in when it starts to come is so important. And you mentioned like in an example where someone's like, well, you should know how I want to be treated. I think underlying that is sometimes that we don't know how we want. Like you should know. I
Right.
can't tell you because I don't want to. I don't know, you know. So
Yes.
so I think it's really being self-aware and then letting it in and in all the different ways that it happens. And I love that you talked about just appreciating the littlest things, the silly things, and instead of just like you look nice today, like your smile, you know, like it's more intimate when you take that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You
Absolutely.
know, Mom, I was thinking about this too. I know that when we're in relationships, we're going through this process, especially in the reality stage. We're going to a deeper level of understanding each other. And so there are things that we do that we're trying to do, give appreciation that may not be right on the mark, but it still goes in the bank. It still goes in in that appreciation kind of bank because it's still
Mm-hmm.
energy, it's still love, it's still that kind of thing. And that becomes kind of consistent, and then you're adding on to it, right? I mean, you're adding on to things where you're like, oh, I know the things that you really, really enjoy. So now I can not only do some of the stuff that's okay, but now I can also do the stuff that you really, really, really love, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I know friends of mine that have kind of gone through similar processes
Yeah.
where like she is consistent in terms of doing one thing, and he kind of notices, and then she's doing other things that he really likes, but if she stops doing the stuff that she was consistent about, he's like, well, I kind of miss that I didn't know how much I appreciated you doing that,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Yeah.
because it's all
Yeah.
love, right? Yeah, go ahead.
It is. And and sometimes when people give, they sometimes surprise the other person with what it is they know the other person likes, just out of the blue. And that has an even greater impact. I mean, all of it has a wonderful impact, but sometimes the unexpected is like, oh wow, wow. It
Yeah.
just adds a little icing on the cake.
And we like cake.
Mhm.
I guess while we have time, I think, Sheila, we were talking about this earlier around we've been talking about some of this already, but like tips, additional kind of tips. Like, do you have like a top 2 or 3, Mom, that you can kind of give couples?
Yeah, and the main one is to make the decision, because the
Okay.
bigger decision is how do I want to be in this relationship? How do I want to show up? I
Yeah.
want to show up as,
Yeah.
if that is the goal, I want to show up as my most loving and supportive person that I can be.
Mhm.
I want to, I want to be attuned to what's going on within me, and I want to be attuned to what's going on within you. So that includes appreciations. And then the other part is if it's something that is not natural, it's like people can have a lot of information about what will work, but if their brain is programmed for something else, they have to really conscientiously think about it and do it over and over and over again. And you don't have to start big. Just start with little things. Because when people, you know, do you notice like sometimes when you're in a restaurant and you say something complimentary to a wait person and how they light up just with a few words, just with a small compliment. But compliments are really big, but it could be a compliment about something really small, but it's significant. It said, wow, I really see you, and what you are doing or how you are being right now is really valuable. Okay, so making a decision and then being consistent. And then having some kind of dance about how you're going to do that together. It could be like making space, and it doesn't have to be planned, making space where you're just going to have an appreciation kind of session and just kind of reflect on, what's working, because what's not working is already magnified. So let's magnify what's working, kind of thing. And to do that on a regular basis. Just like people have, I don't know why I just thought about this, having rituals. We have rituals for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and other things throughout the year. Why not come up with some rituals about sharing appreciations, being appreciative, and sharing them?
Wow. Wow.
Here's the other part. Okay, sorry.
See,
So
you just love doing this work. This is just your passion coming out and your joy coming out, Mom. So it's all good. It is all good.
So I would invite couples to do a 7-day appreciation challenge. And just come up every day for 7 days, come up with at least one appreciation. And if you can think of more, to do that. So the challenge is, how many appreciations can I give you today?
Love
7
it.
days. 7 days.
I love it. I love
And
it.
that's
I
part
love
of
it.
it,
I love it.
developing the habit, because it feels so good. It's like, because when you see the impact on the other person and you see them light up, it's like, well, that inspires me to do. I remember one time I don't know why I'm talking about Jesse so much today. I probably he's just on my brain. But I remember one time he was giving me some kind of response. Oh, I know what it was. This is way back when we were learning about dialogue and listening and that kind of thing. And so his response to me was, he repeated back everything that I said, and then I knew that he heard me. And it touched my heart so much, it was like I was over the moon. He was driving. And when we got to a stoplight, he turned around and looked at me. He said, I don't know what I just did, but I'm going to keep doing it. So, we just never know, the wonderful impact that we have on another person when we take them into consideration in, multiple ways.
Absolutely.
That's part of the opportunities that are in the relationship.
Yeah. Thank you for this, Mom. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I really believe sometimes that when you're in a relationship, that when you're feeling unappreciated, that I think a lot of times you don't consider the deep impact that has on you, as well as if your partner is feeling unappreciated, the deep impact it has on them. And so, doing things, I would say even proactively, right, would be extremely helpful. Because this goes to like feeling deeply emotionally validated. It has to do with trust and faith that you feel from the other person, right? Can also help bolster your own faith in yourself, like in terms of like goals, wishes, and dreams. Like you got your teammate there that's like, yeah, you can do this, and I know, you know, all these kind of things that are there. So yeah, this is great. This is good stuff. We have a couple of questions that came in. Hopefully we have time to do them both. I'll just do the most important one. What's the best piece of relationship advice you've ever gotten? Maybe that's a question for both of you. Who wants to go first? Best piece of relationship advice you've ever gotten.
Wow.
Sheila, you have an idea? That's a deep question, right?
So I think for me, it was, this is not just about me. It's about us. It's about the we. It's about the partnership and what both of us bring to the partnership.
Wow, that's good. Dang, Sheila, that's hard to beat. What
I guess, I'm thinking, and I don't know, I can't think of like one moment, which is what I was trying to do over all the years, but I would say the kind of understanding that all love is also self-love. And so the more you love and know, the more you open up to love in all areas of your life, the more you can do it in a romantic partnership, because you can only give the amount of love that you're capable of feeling and receiving.
Yeah, I like that. I agree. For me, really quickly, again, I had two great relationship experts in my life, so this came from both of you, and that is, people think that when you're in a relationship, it's two 100s and you have to pour out 50 of each and you pour it into a new glass and now it's 100%. That it's not that. It's two 100s combined together to create a new 100%. So it's 1 plus 1, 1 times 1 equals 1. And so no one has to give up anything of themselves. It's not about that. It's about learning to create a new dynamic, a new super subset of all these fantastic qualities that both people bring together into a relationship. So thanks, Mom and Dad. I love it. I love it. Listen, I know, right? We're running out of time, y'all. We're having so much fun. Let's get to some shameless plugs really quickly. Sheila, you have something that is amazing coming up with you and Zach. I get excited every year you guys talk about it because the name is so very cool. The Consciously Awesome Gnostic Adventures are back. There needs to be like some theme music. Dun, 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 dun. Tell us a little bit about this.
It is an adventure. It's like going on a vacation or a group trip, but you're going through higher levels of your consciousness. So we have a lot of fun, and it includes some individual sessions along with some group sessions, some audio lessons that are also based in the adventure theme. And the base of it is the conscious meditation technique that I developed that allows you to tune into your higher levels of frequencies at any moment as you go through your day. So it's not just meditating and then going and learning and then coming back and meditating. It's being able to be in that state 24/7.
Wow. And so people, you can go to SheilaApplegate.com/consciously-awesome-gnostic-adventure. And you can register for that today. We're going to make sure that we put it into our chats so that people can go and learn more about it. We'll also put it on our website too, Sheila, so that people can go and register there as well. Mom, I know you've talked a lot about these like our first two of the 7 reasons why people get unstuck. But you also want people to know that they can reach out to you to learn more about all of this, right? And so they can reach you on by via email or direct message, right?
Yeah.
Using
So
social
what I'm
media.
doing now, because so what I'm doing right now is I'm interviewing couples to see if their relationship needs a tune-up, because I'm preparing for my 8-week course, Reignite the Love. And so in that course, people will be able to do what we're talking about today, see where their point A is in terms of leaks in their relationship, and then where they want to be. And then the 8-week program helps them to bridge the gap.
Fantastic. That's great. This is great. I love you both so much. This is always so much fun. So we've got, next time we're together in a couple of weeks, we'll be at number 5, right? And what's number 5, Mom, for in terms of reasons for why people?
I forgot.
You remember? Oh, well, that's okay. That's okay. We'll make sure.
I'm doing this over here, doing this over here. I got this list
I know,
over
like,
here.
where is it? Where? You know.
Stay tuned. They have to come back to get it.
I know, right?
Can't be giving out that information ahead.
Yeah. So, but no, Mom, you'll be back in the second Tuesday of May. And so that's going to be a fantastic show. Sheila, you'll be back too. So, thank you both for being here. Really appreciate you guys so much. This is so good, so much good information for people to have. So thanks again. Listen, everyone, we're running out of time. Again, as we always do, we run out of time and we have so much to talk about. But listen, you can always come back every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern right here on our Soulivity TV channels, or you can listen or watch us at 8 a.m. Pacific time on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. Just want to say, keep working on your passion and purpose, because sooner than later, you're going to create your best life today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior